Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to another video update on my 3000 GT VR4. It's been a long time coming. I usually try to update every 3 months. That gives me enough time to collect some footage and some interesting stuff that I came across that I like to share with everybody who clicked on this video. But due to certain circumstances, I have quite a few cars that also needs doing, and this car had to be put aside for a while before I can work on it. I am also getting to the point where I'm pretty tired of working on this thing and I just want to drive it. That's kind of what happens when you get a long-term project like that. It gets to the point where you get tired of it. You're just constantly working on it. You never really drive it and enjoy it. It's never really where it needs to be. It's about the time when people do a Facebook Marketplace post and go, my loss, your gain, spend 40,000, sell it to you cheap for 15,000. But this will never happen here. I'm going to finish this car and enjoy every bit of it. I actually got to drive my car for a couple of years before I started tearing it apart and build an engine, and decided to repaint the car completely, which it just brings one problem after another. As you can see, most of the car is put back together, if not all of it. Majority of it, let's say 95% of the car is back together. That's another thing that really over time you just lose track where did everything go that I took apart. And like I said on the previous video, my goal was to just put everything, bumper and side skirts and this sail panels here back on the car, so I can put the interior back inside the car and I don't have to think about where all the screws go and where everything went. And I also, the spoiler is not painted. I was debating whether to paint it or leave it this color, but we'll get there in a minute. Meanwhile, I made about 30 minutes of mash up certain things that I did throughout the last 3 months in the process of putting the car together. So you guys watch that, and once you're done with that, then we're gonna go around the car. I'm gonna show you how everything came together. We're gonna talk a little bit about performance. I'm sure all the horsepower guys would like to know what I actually put under the hood of this car and what performance upgrades and what horsepower I'm actually aiming for. Watch the 30-minute mashup and then you'll see the ups and downs I had to go through in order to get here today. So I'll see you guys in a bit. And this is now the left side skirt. I just finished sanding it with 2000 grit sandpaper. Evened out the clear coat. This is now ready to be buffed. And my method of evening out clear coat is with this 3M rubber, and on areas like that where we have inverted curves, I use this piece of fuel line and wrap sandpaper around it so I don't dig with the edge of this and the clear coat. I already fixed the runs here. We're in these areas. There's almost not even resemblance on this section. You can see a little bit here, but yeah, this section has already been sanded and buffed. So we're looking at this type of finish on the outside when I'm done. In the process of buffing and polishing, I wanted to show you guys what the difference of the finish is between just the rubbing compound and then on the other side I started with the polishing compound. This is what the rubbing compound looks like. Still brought back the shine to it, but there's haze and the finish. And then here is with number 2. You can see how much clearer you can see through the clear coat now versus right here. Left side skirt is finally finished, polished to perfection. No swirl marks on the sun, as you can see. Looks absolutely amazing, and it is essential to use this final perfected ultra fine machine polish paste. Otherwise, with the one before that one, you could still see some swirl marks when you're looking at the detail at an angle on the sun. Yeah, this is it. Quite a few more to go. Now I'm in the process of painting the door handles. Door handles have been taken apart, so there's really no way to paint this door handle properly when it's all put together. I scuffed them with red Scotch-Brite, and now they have a couple of coats of sealer on them. I'm waiting for that to flash off so I can apply the paint and the clear coat. The door handles are finally finished and painted the same color as the car. I have a near flawless finish here, minus a couple of nibs here on the face of this door handle I have to clean up after everything is cured. But very pleased with this result. I'm gonna light up the metallic for you guys so you get to see this beautiful metallic paint. I don't know if I mentioned this on the previous videos, but this color is called Black Rose, and it's used on a 2017, what is it, C7 Corvettes. Of course, depending on who is mixing the color for you, it can be slightly off, but overall this is what this was sold as to me. Anyway, in order to achieve this result, I used this little paint gun every step of the way. It's a cheap paint gun, but it's enough for something like this. And here's also to say that this process takes about 4 hours in order to complete, start to finish. We have 2 coats of sealer here, 3 coats of base coat, and then 2 coats of clear coat. So between each coat you apply, you have to wait a minimum of 30 minutes before you can apply the next coat. So I'll start it around 11 o'clock. Right now it's 3 o'clock. There's a lot of waiting downtime. You have to wait. You cannot rush paint because then you get problems as the details are drying. Door handle saga continues. So after painting the door handles, I thought about just using just bolts here, bolt and a nut, in order to replace these hinge rivets. But apparently those are 5.5 millimeter, so there is no adequate bolt that you can use in order to connect the 2 pieces back together. So the solution was to drill this piece and this piece of the door handle larger so they can accept these guys here, These are from Herbert's, and they're stainless steel. They're pretty pricey, but it was the closest thing that I could get my hands on that will make this possible. So after I painted the door handle, I had to drill these hinges out, and it was nerve-wracking. I actually put a little bit on the vise and try to hold it, not apply too much pressure. Next thing you know, the drill bit catches, flips it over, and makes these marks right here, which is fine. It could have been a lot worse, but my heart dropped for a moment. And especially now, you guys know how long time it took to paint these things. Pretty much takes a day to paint these door handles. And thankfully it didn't chip the paint off, it just made a kind of a scuff mark. But anyway, I'm in the process of preparing this one now. In order to drill this, now I have experience after doing this one. In order to drill this and not have the drill bit catches, this is actually pretty soft alloy. But first I drill with the step drill, which doesn't catch as like a regular drill bit like these. These are much more forgiving, so I won't try to twist the handle off your hands. So I drill it here up to a quarter, because these are a quarter, I think. Is it a quarter? Let's see. Come on. Yes, up to a quarter. So when this hits a quarter, and the moment it hits the next step after a quarter, we have a little bit of lift here on the inside. And then I use what is this one? This one. Just give me a second here so I can figure out what this one is. That's a 732. So then I use that little bit left as kind of a guide, and then put the drill bit with the vice grips and just hand drill the rest of the way in order to drill this bit. So from 732 to 15/16, I'm sorry, 15/64. So 732, 15/64, and then finally 1/4 inch by hand. And drilling these guys also by hand. Do not use drill. It's very quick, because this is just a plastic bit, so the drill bit almost immediately drills through this. If you're using a drill, you may end up making the hole a lot bigger than you need to, but yeah, these are 1/4 inch stainless steel hinge. So if you drill these with a 1/4 inch by hand, you have just enough movement for these to spin here, but not too much to where the door handle will be loose. Okay, just finished cutting and buffing the area around the door handle and the doors. I don't have time to cut and buff the whole door, but just this area up until here, it's been cut and buffed. The door handles are being buffed at the same time. So here, this is to second stage, and now I just have to do the finishing stage, which removes swirls, which really doesn't matter that much on For something that small, you will not see swirls. Here is the other side. I started removing the tape and everything. So it makes a mess when anytime you're cutting and buffing, and afterwards the car has to be washed. But it's raining outside, so I'm not doing that. It's just gonna get a quick wipe off, and the goal is to put the door handles in the door so I can put the door panels and water barrier. And now I present to you the door handle. Ooh, we've got door handles. Actually door handle, just this side. The other side still has to be done. But we've got door handles. I cannot remember when was the last time I actually used door handles to open the doors on this car. I wanted to make a short video to show you guys how the wheels fit on the car. Since last time the car was covered with plastic and I couldn't really show the profile, but this is again 17 by 9 in the front and 17 by 10 in the rear, with 48 offset on the rear and 45 in the front. So that's about as perfect as it gets, as long as you find wheels that clear the calipers on the front. And the reason I'm doing this short video now is because I am about to change the wheels and tires combo here for the winter, since I live in the mountain and it's not, I'm planning to drive this car winter time. This is not just gonna stay in the garage over the winter. So I got some all-terrain tires and I have exact same wheels, only they're a square 17 by 9 with a 35 offset. So you guys will see how the car looks like with the 35 offset wheels and all-terrain tires in the main video update. Well, here we are guys, back at it again after spending months and months building this motor, making sure every nut and bolt is tight so I don't have to dig into it for a while. At least I was forced to take it apart, at least to that extent. And the reason being is the car started smoking after the engine was idling for a while, which is usually indication that we have bad valve stem seals. And these cylinder heads went into the machine shop to do a valve job and valve guide honing, and at the same time the guy at the machine shop installed valve stem seals. So sure enough, you can see one of the valve stem seals right there on this exhaust valve is completely unclipped from the valve guides, and that's not the only one. There's actually a few of them that are like that. I don't know what happened there. Did they not got pushed all the way in to where they clip on the valve guide, or there's some misalignment? I don't know. I will find out here shortly. But this is what I stand right now, and it's just has to be done, has to be fixed. Despite how unfortunate this is, I will fix it. By the time you guys see this video, the car should be fixed and tuned. But this is where I stand right now, and I guess this is a good time to introduce this new car for everyone who is thinking about buying these cars. This car came in almost the same condition like my car came in. It's all beat up. There was a bonder here. I guess it was an accident. Both these cars are total loss, which it doesn't matter really at this point. If you find something that it's 35 years old and it has proper paperwork, you should be happy about it, period. Total loss or not, everything can be fixed, of course, as long as we don't have any really structural body damage. But yeah, this is the next patient here, waiting patiently for me to get to it. And of course I cannot get to it when I have to take a step back. It's just everything is gonna take longer. This is the engine that I'm putting together for this black car. And this is the engine that came out of my car, and I know it was a good running engine. I just needed to be refreshed. I updated the crankshaft, installed the forged crankshaft. Everything else is stock with fresh piston rings and fresh rod bearings and crankshaft bearings. I wanted to show you guys here. Where did I put those? Here I have the crankshaft and rod bearings. I'm sorry, the main bearings and the rod bearings that came out of this engine. And after so many miles, everything gets wiped out. As you can see, this was a running engine. It was not making any abnormal noises from the bottom end. However, the main bearings on these cars take such beating. Look at that. Something went through here, completely wiped out this bearing, but it was not giving any clue. The clue here, when you have substantial wear on the main bearings especially, is when the car idles, you will see the oil pressure drop down to like one line or so, and at that point you should know that something is wrong. It's never supposed to drop that low. Drops normally, now that I have this fresh motor, the oil pressure when the car is fully warm after spirited drive, it will drop to like one line below the middle. Actually, not middle. There's a big line there, the first longer line. Just one line below that is where the oil pressure will drop when the car is fully warmed up. And another thing here to say is right here, these are the oil galley holes. This is where oil pressure comes in from the oil pump through a passage here, through this oil galley, and this oil galley runs across the block, and there is passages that go down to the crankshaft main bearings, and there's two passages right here that go up for the cylinder heads. So whenever you take apart one of these engines, whether you're just doing a cylinder head gasket job when the engine is still in the car, the first thing you should do the moment you remove the cylinder heads is put a piece of tape right here on this port, because this hole goes straight into this galley, and whatever garbage comes out here from whether we're cleaning here the cylinder head gaskets or something else, it goes straight down into the main bearings. So first thing, absolutely a must, whenever you remove the cylinder head, you put a piece of tape here, or just plug this hole before you start cleaning anything. Last thing you need is cylinder head gasket material to get in there, and short while after the cylinder head gasket job, the engine fails. Here's the first valve stem seal. I was telling on the first video I made for this repair that this sits kind of funny when I was looking at it through the spring, and sure enough, this is not clipped properly on the valve guide. All right, This is the second day of this repair. All the valve stem seals are replaced. I just wanted to show you guys the tool I used to do this. There's many valve stem seal tools, but not many of them fit this particular engine, especially now that I'm done. This is the last valve stem seal that I did, and I used this type of valve stem. This is valve spring compressor tool, and this guy right here. Got all these little adapters, and if you play with it with the different extensions and move to the holes, and then I'm using a 10mm screw here with a big kind of a wider head so it can grab onto, and I was able to use all of these different holes in order to line these two wherever I needed to be lined up in order to push straight down on the valve spring. Now this one is by far the worst one. I thought I was having a hard time with this bracket because this bracket gets on the way, and this is a huge win, guys, because in order to remove this bracket per se and get it out of the way of this valve, there's a couple of screws on the back, but the one screw is not very accessible because the shield this heat shield partially covers it, so heat shield has to come out if you have to remove this bracket. And then another thing is that these brackets line up with the intake manifold. It will be very difficult to bolt them back on place and assure that they're gonna line up with the holes in the intake manifold after you're done and bolting everything on. But this tool worked well. What's the verdict? The verdict here is brand crawler design, first off, is a little different than the regular seal design. It's a lot smaller. Just a second, I'll show you guys what I mean. Just a moment, I'll leave the phone. Okay. So, looking at this side by side, you can tell this is a lot smaller metal circle, and it's got a lot less rubber material inside this metal circle sleeve that basically grabs onto the valve guide. And this has more rubber, and also the sleeve is a little bit longer. So there is some design flaw here, but some of those valve stem seals were holding on to the valve guides, not very strong, but they were on there. But all in all, machine shop cylinder head guy didn't really do a good job, because some of them were flat out installed crooked and left like that, like this one right here. You can see how these were just tapped in sideways and they took the shape like that. There was at least 4 of them. Almost all the exhaust valve seals on the back head were completely detached from the valve guides. So yeah, now it's time to put this thing back together. And here's a quick video of the first bumper I put together. This one is gonna go on the black car that I'm putting together for a friend of mine, and wanted to show you guys. I decided to recreate this flat black line that goes across the first generation bumper, but only here is gonna be slightly modified in order to fit the contour of this particular bumper. And the Mitsubishi emblem is going to be here inside the flat black section. It looks really good. I'm very happy with it. I look at the car from several different angles. I looked at it from far and close, and it really fits well with the flat black line existing instead of just finishing this here. And it just creates all this real estate here that has got nothing on it. And from close distance it looks well, but the moment you step back and look at the car from far away, it just doesn't look right. So definitely had to be done. I have a couple of pictures that I took when this bumper was on the car before I took it out and started working on the second one. So you guys will get to see how this looks like on the car. Well, I hope you guys enjoy the recap I put together for you. This is where we are today. That's how the car looks like. Just give you a brief overall look, and then we're gonna focus on the individual details. So at the end of the summer, I had to just focus on making the car weather tight, so I couldn't continue with paint work and actually paint the hood. I did quite a bit of work on the hood, but anyway, it's far from finished. I did as much as I could before I had to put it back on, and now it's time to fix this line here, make sure all the gaps are proper. As you can see, the hood is now, this piece is riveted and it's got seam sealer in between. It's got seam sealer here. The edge is folded and closed together, so it will need a little more final adjustment. And I am thinking about making some cutouts here in this area, some vents. I haven't decided really what I want to do yet, but it needs to have something, because summertime it gets so hot, and turbo engines with just turbochargers just bring so much heat in the engine bay. It will be nice to have some ventilation for the summer months. Here's the new bumper that I'm building for my car. This is second version of it, a little bit different way of attachment, simply because this bumper was not in such poor condition like the first one that I used. Either way, we're gonna have the same result, similar, maybe a little bit different here in that section, but overall the bumper is gonna look the same, and it will retain this flat black strip that I was showing you earlier in this video on the red bumper. I'm not sure how I'm going to fix this here, whether I'm gonna add another piece and make it to where it will gradually even out with this section, or maybe just leave it a hole and put a screen here. I'm not sure yet what I want to do there. Of course, it's not time to focus on painting quite yet. We have this nice sunny day today, but it's not summer yet for me to be doing all this work. It's cold, it's raining, and it's very inconvenient to do body work. I work most on this type of stuff outside in front of my garage at my home. So the weather is currently not allowing me to do that type of work. Right now I'm in the process of installing this Mishimoto this is a Mishimoto oil cooler for the engine. This is a little bit bigger oil cooler than what we have stock. So something interesting I did here, I actually removed one of this mount from a different AC unit and bolted on here in the middle. So I have stock looking, at least bottom mounts. The upper mount is also going to be rubber mounted to this bracket. I haven't quite figured out yet how I'm going to do this, but yeah, this is in the process of making right now. That's the type of stuff I can do now when it's cold. But anyway, let's take a look at all the stuff that got installed here, like sail panels, A-pillars. I got brand new windshield. Little tip on the windshield: whenever you're installing your windshield, make sure you have your A-pillar covers on and your headliner on, everything. I temporarily put them on to see how the windshield is going to lay down. There is really not much of a limit. It's just how far the installer is going to push the windshield down when he's gluing it in place. So I made sure, I told him, when you're installing the windshield, I put all the inside pieces. I told him to put the A-pillar pieces on and make sure it's even here with the pieces and everything. Here's the roof. Last time you guys saw the video update, I was in the process of painting the roof. The roof got painted in 2K flat black paint, which I end up clear coating at the end, and then I cut and buff it. So when you're cutting and buffing roof especially, I waited about a week before I cut and buffed this roof, left the car covered, masked and everything, and used the opportunity to do cutting and buffing while the car was masked, so I don't have to wash the clear coat and water, clear coat powder and water mixture from all the creases where it's gonna find its way coming down. Actually, when it dries on the fresh paint, it leaves a trace, which is not easy to get rid of. So like I said, I had to just focus on making the car weather tight so I can drive it in the winter months. So sail panels got put back on. I actually added here on the inside a little rubber strip, trying to prevent, I refreshed this rubber strip here on the inside of the A-pillar, trying to prevent as much as I can water from entering here in between, eventually find its way. Also closing these gaps for any type of dirt, debris and whatnot, to not find its way in between the sail panel and the body of the car. Spoiler got put back on. The spoiler ended up being originally a silver paint. This is between silver and beige. So it was flat black painted before, so the guy I bought it from apparently took a rattle can and just sprayed it without even sanding or preparing it, which was welcome for me. I just took some brake cleaner and wiped it all off, and then I buffed the spoiler and was debating whether I should have some of that color outside, combination maybe with the wheels, but ultimately I decided it has to be painted either black, clear coated black like I did the roof, or maybe I will do the bottom section black, flat black like it's here in this area, and then just paint the top of the spoiler the same color as the car. I haven't decided yet. I'll figure it out at some point. Here the antenna got put back on. All the interior here got put back on after I installed the bumper and tail lights. All this is hiding the screws for the rear bumper, for tail lights. This centerpiece here, I have the Cusco strut brace here on the top. I trimmed these lids in order to make room for it. This looks pretty good. Those are pretty much the best plastics I own for this car. They're not perfect, but they look very decent for the age. Tail lights are tinted with 3M product. It's a Vivid 3M headlight tinting vinyl. So it's got like air release system. This is good stuff, but I would not use this on something that has more curvature. It will just pull apart. You see pulls here on the edges. And the first set of tail lights I didn't bother cutting here and folding the edge. I just left it here, and I left it also here. I didn't cut this area as well, and I just glued it, and it ended up pulling out. Once the sun hit it, it just lost grip. It didn't look right, but now I learned from the first time, so I ended up cutting this and folded. Also, I sanded the edges of the tail lights because there is a lot of dirt buildup here on the edges that never get washed when the car gets washed, and nothing sticks to that type, how to say, it's like a water spot. What you get on usually you get that in the shower. But anyway, just use 2000 grit sandpaper to go around the edges in order to clean them from this type of deposits, because if you don't, then it will just unstick from the edge. So here's how this looks like. This trunk jamb is painted in flat black. So the inside of the trunk is painted in flat black. Here's what the spoiler looks like. It doesn't look bad from close when it's this color, but when you're looking at it from further back, it just doesn't look quite right. It needs to be black. This area needs to be black. Same with the wheels. The wheels, now that we talk about wheels, these are the same wheels like the other set, except they're 17x9 with 35 offset square, and I decided to put all-terrain tires on them. These are Falcon Wild Peak, and the size is 215, 55, 17, and this size clears the front struts and also tucks into the fender despite the rim actually sticking out. 35 offset is maximum limit I really want to see on these cars. Anything anything past 35, a lower number, it doesn't look nice in my opinion. Also, the suspension on these cars have a lot of a camber gain, so whenever the suspension compresses, the top of the tire tucks into the fender. You can see here I used double tape on the top section of this panel, and it ended up pulling itself apart. So this is something I'm going to do in a different way. I think I'm gonna just put tape here and tape here, and just use seam sealer or black silicone and just fill up this edge, just to prevent water and dirt finding its way in between the door and this panel. This panel has drains underneath, but it's only so much muck and dirt it can drain through it. So it's never nice to have holes like that just over time it collects garbage. Also here I use this double face, but again this panel doesn't fit quite well here. See, there's quite a bit of gap, so I think I'm just gonna go around and also do the same modification here on this edge, even though this actually closed pretty good here. It's open here on this. Interior is all back together. Everything looks great. The racing seats, for now it will stay, but it gets old getting in and out of the car. This is from my son's child seat that he outgrew, and without this there is not much cushion here. If you drive a longer period of time, it really starts hurting your bum. I'm thinking to peel this off and put this underneath. I don't know what holds this. I never had this seat upholstery apart, and I'm sure it should be Velcro. This is how these seats are usually made. But anyway, for now this is gonna be the seat. I'm not done with it. I'm gonna put the frame from the stock seat back here with a different upholstery. It's gonna look really finished, but again, it's only so much I can do. Running out of weekends very quick, especially when I had setbacks to do, and now I have second car to build, which is right here, covered, waiting for its turn. What else is there to say? Let's have a look one more time. This is cut and buffed. This is not cut and buffed. This is also cut and buffed. This is not cut and buffed. You can see here where I started. I just sanded to find this edge, and then I used tape as a spacer so I can find this line. So that's a little tip for you guys if you're painting your cars, how to, when you lose this line here, how to find it easily. But I cut and buffed this section just with first paste, because now when I put the bumper here I won't be able to do much without getting into the bumper. So certain things the car will guide you and tell you what comes after another. It's not so much what you want to do. It's whatever it's gonna take in order to be able to put all the weather stripping back on, which was my goal, basically, to make the car weather tight. This is something interesting I did. Back in the day, we used to have a old Mitsubishi 60-inch TV that my wife had when we met. The TV is disposed, and I saved this, just the front of it, with this emblem, and I ended up buying a Mitsubishi car, and I saw this emblem. I'm like, there's no better place for this to be than right here, and something to just commemorate my family. Looks pretty cool. What do you guys think? This door panel. Yeah, it's taking shape. Mirrors got painted flat black. It's another thing nerve-wracking is when you're taking the mirrors apart to paint them. Also, same with the door handles. I mean, door handles were riveted, so that was a different story. Here, the nerve-wracking is to actually pop the mirror. You have to bring this bottom edge out and pop the mirror from the bottom so you can unclip it from the back part and remove all the connectors. So actually removing it is not too bad, but installing it, actually having to push on the mirror to clip back on. I broke one already trying to do that, and I was being very careful. So it was question whether I can put this mirror back together, or I'm gonna have to search for another one in order to replace it. Anyway, I was lucky enough to be able to put it back together. This is how the mirrors look. Let's talk a little bit about the engine, and I'm just gonna finish this video because it's already it's getting into about an hour mark. What's inside this engine? What I end up using, I have a stock replacement forged crankshaft. I have brand Crower rods. I have Ross pistons with extreme piston rings, and in the process of replacing the valve stem seals, I end up installing Brian Crower springs and Brian Crower stage 2 camshafts. I have Larry McCoy's turbochargers. These are 17T turbochargers. I have 550cc injectors. I have a Supra fuel pump, which also got wired here by Larry McCoy's wiring diagram with two-stage fuel delivery system, where we're lowering down the pressure at idle so we don't overwhelm the fuel pressure regulator. I have the HKS intercoolers. You guys know already about that. This will actually change. I acquired the DMP intake kits, so the intercoolers will change at some point. They're really enough when it's cold, but for the summer days we get in the 90s, we get into 100s, and those intercoolers are really not up to the task. And of course, I'm not really racing the car to where I'm gonna go on the track on a hot day and start pushing it, but still, whatever I can do in order to help keep everything cool, I will. I still have to remove this exhaust manifold here and sort out this exhaust leak that I had. I just run out of Christmas vacation trying to fix the pesky valve stem seal problem. I also want to update the cooling fan to a 14-inch fan that I had, and I was thinking about doing in the process of engine replacement, and still run out of time. So the goal here is to reach, I think Larry said that 450 horse is what we can get max out of this engine with this particular setup with the stock mass airflow. I think that's about gonna be enough for me. We also have cold spark plugs, so this is my goal, 450 horse. I think we are definitely close right now to 450. We're probably close to 400. That's how it feels. The car runs very strong. It sounds amazing, but it's still gonna need fine-tuning for us to clear out all the little things that need to be reworked, like cold start per se. It runs a little bit rich now when it's cold. It just needs to warm up a bit before you start driving it, and from what Larry's saying, this is usually what happens when you put bigger injectors. Also, the cold spark plugs, it's never good to run your engine for a short period of time when you're using cold spark plugs, because you will end up fouling the spark plugs, or even flood the engine, and you won't even want to start for you. So when I start the car, I have to give it a little time to warm up before I shut it down. Otherwise it will have difficulty starting. So yeah, I think that's it for now. I'll keep you guys updated as I go. It's taking shape. As you can see, this paint looks amazing. It's a beautiful sunny day, and the car's not even washed. I think it's time to buff this door. It's starting to bother me. This section is not buffed here. I only buffed until here for the door handle, because I didn't want to try to buff this area with the door handle in place. So I will final look at this beauty, and I'm gonna go and continue my lunch break. Let me show you guys how to. I quickly took a paintbrush and put some sealer here to close this exposed metal for the winter so it doesn't rust. You can see the gap is pretty good. I just have to fix the edge here, the edge shape. That's it, guys. That's it. This is gonna be it for this video. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Enjoy the few minutes. At the end, I'm gonna put some fun stuff we do in the process of working. It's not all work. It has to be fun at some point too. Bye. Yes, sometimes we like to smoke indoors. Okay, let's see if my parts are all washed.
How to repair it.
Ooh, perfectly nice and clean, ready to go.
So once you've removed your 163, or say shifter module out of the car, what you're going to want to do is very carefully just and that's how you remove the wooden plate around the shifter.
Yeah.